Joining us to talk more about the latest developments in Minneapolis is former Chief Deputy of the U.S. Marshals Service and law enforcement analyst John O'Malley.
John, thanks for joining us this evening.
Sure, good evening.
A lot of attention's been focused on the actions of that one officer who had his knee for several minutes on Floyd's neck. I wonder, what were the obligations, responsibilities of the other three officers who were there at the scene?
Sure, so anytime officers make contact and detain someone, either it might not be an arrest, just detaining someone for an investigation, for whatever reason it is, any officers that come in contact are 100% responsible for the care, custody, and control of that individual that they're detaining or arresting. So all the officers on scene are just as much culpable as the officer who has been arrested and charged in this case. First of all, any one of them could have intervened and stopped that action at any time during that incident. So they are culpable as well, and we'll see what happens down the road, either in a state criminal investigation or a federal criminal civil rights investigation.
John, how on earth can a police officer think that that's okay to put their knee on someone who's asking for help, saying they can't breathe, calling for his mother, and that's not even a procedural way to detain a suspect? Absolutely
not. There was no, the force that was used in what we've seen on these numerous videos right now is the definition of excessive. And, you know, anytime there's police misconduct like that, personally and professionally, I think that comes from a lack of training or some lack of supervision on that law enforcement agency.
And John, the crime that he was suspected of committing was, relatively minor, forgery. I assume police officers are taught to respond to the degree to which the suspect is accused of committing a crime. For example, if somebody's suspected of murder, you would respond one way. If somebody's suspected of forgery, you would respond another way.
Yeah, that could be, and we don't know obviously all what happened led up to why there were numerous officers there on the scene. Let's say that was the case, and he somehow was actively resisting those officers, combative with the arresting officers once he realized he was being taken into custody. And of course, I'm speculating here, but even given so, once that he was taken into custody, there are at least 4 officers that I saw on numerous videos there. There are other means that they could have used reasonable control if he was being combative in any way. I'm not saying that he was, but if he was, number one, let him up, sit down on the street, cross his legs. If they're waiting, it appeared to me, my professional opinion on this is that they had called EMS and they were waiting on EMS leading up to before we saw what happened. I think they were waiting for EMS to arrive, but they could have sat him down in a sitting position and maintained control that way easily.
So, John, now, how does the Minneapolis Police Department regain the trust of the community?
That is a huge mountain that they're going to need to climb right now, because not only this incident, but there's been other incidents in that same police department, and quite frankly, across the country. It's a real hard thing to tackle, and I know police departments, including right here in Chicago, are going down that path. I think if they just keep on, listen, like any profession, there's bad people in every profession. And, I'm sure a vast, high majority of the Minneapolis Police Department goes to work every day, puts on that uniform, and does a noble job, just like law enforcement that I know across the United States and elsewhere do on a daily basis. So you just got to keep plugging away, and actions are going to go a long way with the community, and just keep on trying to protect the community and go out there and be good officers. That's all you can do.
John O'Malley, former Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal here in Chicago, currently teaches law enforcement, among other things, at the College of DuPage. Thank you so much for joining us, John.
Thank you, John.
Take care, guys. Have a good weekend.
You too.